Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Did you know that narcissistic personality disorder is characterized by a long-term pattern of exaggerated feelings of self-importance, an excessive craving for admiration, and struggles with empathy?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I was thinking about myself. What?
I was kind of myself was just like, yeah, I think I'm important. Yeah. Sure. I mean, okay. Narcissism. People have heard this term before. I'm interested in the people, right? If you go to Greek mythology, sure. Narcissus is a hunter character known in those stories. I'm a big fan of Caravaggio, who was an Italian painter, late 1500s, early 1600s, known for his very harsh contrast and his realistic portrayal of humans. He did a portrait of himself gazing at his own reflection titled Narcissus. So again, nice part of there. But you know what, Kyle, because we are fans, I think there is only one Narcissus that matters. That is the one played by Lawrence Wendell Full. And who is that, you ask? He is better known by his ring name, Lex Luger. Now, if you didn't know that, I didn't know this. I kind of vaguely remember this. 1993, he comes to the World Wrestling Federation. Bobby the Brain Heenan is his manager. He introduces him as Narcissus. Okay. They realize that nobody knows what that is. Like, they don't understand, right? And then they rename him the Narcissist. And that was his first persona.
First gimmick.
His gimmick. Because what he would do is, so what would he do? I'm tying this all together with Caravaggio. He would begin, before he would come out to the ring, he would be admiring himself in the mirror. Mm-hmm. Much like a certain individual is seated at a table surrounded by mirrored surfaces.
True. That is either a common thing in the wrestling world or something Vince McMahon can't let go, because it seems like there's always been that character in some way, shape, or form. Because I remember from adorable Adrian Adonis.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yes.
To ravishing Rick Rude. I mean, like, there's always been those guys who are like, their gimmick is, man, look how great I look.
Adrian Adonis.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, there's like certain archetypes that people just fill, and that's it. And so now we have another one here at minute 116 of Iron Man 2 from 2010, directed by Mr. Jon Favreau. Ooh, we're getting down to it. Like, we're getting so near the end of the principal photography thing. You can see it on the horizon. But before we get that far, let's talk about where we're at, because we are still in Tony Stark's debrief. I guess that's what it is. Like, this is the post-event meeting about Avengers, the future, Nick Fury, everything that's been going on. And let's not forget, Nick Fury has had a very, very busy week. So if you think like, boy, he doesn't seem to be given anything to do, you don't know how tired that man is. He's dealt with the Hulk stuff, the Thor stuff, and the Iron Man stuff, and he's had to coordinate all of it. Yeah.
You can see it. You can see it in his eye. Yeah. You can see it in his eye. It's very clear that, dude. No.
So we begin with Tony saying, I mean, please, aren't we all? This is the finishing up what he was talking about last time. And he says, and then quoting from the report that once again, this was written by Natasha Romanoff, textbook narcissism. Agreed.
Yes.
It takes a beat and looks over at Nick, and Nick is giving him nothing, which Samuel Jackson says so little in this scene and yet is doing so much. Let's see, then it continues on. Okay, here it is. Recruitment assessment for Avengers Initiative. Iron Man? Yes. And he puts the folder down.
Done.
Like, well, that's all right. He says, I got to think about it. Like, just because you want me doesn't mean I want to be in your little club. And then Fury says, read on. And then so Tony then takes the folder and goes back into it. It says, Tony Stark, not recommended? That doesn't make any sense. How can you approve me but not approve me? It's interesting. So he continues on. He says, I got a new ticker. I'm trying to do right by Pepper. I'm in a stable-ish relationship. And so Fury realizes that he's ramping up to go on this big thing. And so he walks around the table and sits down. So before we get into like where that goes, let's pause for a moment and talk about this. What are they talking about here? I like. Do you think this is a discarded plot line? Because I mean, like he says, they want Iron Man, but they don't want Tony Stark. So, then isn't that just War Machine?
Well,
you kind of have that now.
No, true. Now see, that's an interesting take on it. So when you watch this, at this point, you're thinking to yourself, well, okay, first of all, for Tony's feigning. He's doing a lot of feigning in this minute, right? In this conversation.
Right.
He read ahead that they said no to Tony Stark. That's why he closes the folder like, oh, we'll forget, like I act like I didn't see that. Same thing here. How can you want Iron Man and not want me? Well, the implication is that, well, we can take your suit. And you know what?
Oh, interesting.
And we can take it because we already took one.
Ooh.
So why can't we just take it all? Like at the end of the day, we're bigger than you. That's to me what the implication is. Even to the point where this is when Nick gets up and sits down in that super superlative position. Like, no, listen, Tony, listen, Tony here. We're in charge. You're not. And I think that's what the message is. That's interesting that you're taking that. Well, we've already done it. No, they have already done it, but they want it all. It's not enough.
Yeah, that's
because you as a person in the suit are a liability.
Oh, absolutely.
The suit and the technology are not a liability. It's you.
Yeah,
you're the problem.
Tony said at the start of the movie, like way back in the that there is no difference.
Right.
He is Iron Man. Iron Man is him. You can't have the one without the other.
Oh, right. And there is that conclusion. Well, I think so interesting on this scene because I love this because, okay, here's the thing. Watching this scene totally focused on every word.
Mm-hmm.
When you know how Tony Stark's story ends, this has a totally different meaning. Because when you hear him making his appeal for, hey, look, I got a good ticker. I finally got the poison out. I'm trying to make right by Pepper. Wow. When you realize everything he says in this moment actually comes to fruition.
Yeah, true. Everything changes for Tony from this.
Well, here's the deal.
He's a very different person by the time we see him again.
Well, and you think about the signpost, not to talk about future things. This is the moment where the real change happens. It goes through a massive obstacle during the first Avengers because we know that Tony then becomes really changed in a way that is beyond all this. You go through Iron Man 3, you go through Age of Ultron, you go through that journey and to then come to the ultimate version of this of he is selfless. Mm-hmm. He is completely done right by Pepper. He's done everything right. He was willing to give everything up for her and their child. And he was able to make at the end of all that, the ultimate sacrifice, which is what Nick is basically challenging him to do in this moment. Nick is trying to say, don't make this all about you. The narcissism, literally, it's laid out. I know I get, I love this stuff. Wow. Take this scene. Like you could almost start before you watch Endgame. Yeah. Watch just this scene. And then when you watch Endgame and you go, whoa, what a story. And then you got to go back and you got to see all the other movies because it's a whole story. Man, boy, I'll tell you, do I love Marvel. Good Lord.
When they're
What's
on their
wrong
own?
with me? I'm shameless. No, it really hit me in this. Like when he goes through that list from all of that, you see all of that change in this character over the course of the next 18 movies.
Wow.
Give or take a few.
Standing here looking so far forward.
Right?
Man.
No, and that's what's amazing about it. Yeah. But getting back to your point though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're basically saying is no, it's not that, we already have the suit. No, we want it all. We don't just want we want all the good stuff. We don't want the baggage, and you're the baggage right now. Nah.
Are they trying to get him to clean up his act?
Well,
you're the weak part of the Iron Man program. You're the weak point,
and then turn this then to what is Nick Fury's ultimate plan here? Well, tease the narcissist. You want to get him to change.
Yeah,
tell him what he can't do. That's what this is.
Yeah, like John Locke. Don't tell me what I can't do.
Yes. No, that's what this is. I think ultimately at the end of the day, I think Nick Fury realizes, if Nick Fury is the person he pretends to be here, and we know of what he becomes.
Actually, I had thought about that because I realized that we've been making a bit. Oh, this is off topic, but let's talk about it because we're talking about Nick Fury.
That's it, folks. That's the minute.
That's really there's like 2 more lines and then that's it. So we'll get to them, but
we'll get there.
There was obviously by the time that people hear this, who knows what will have been revealed. That's why, like, I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but like, will Secret Invasion already be out? I don't know.
Right.
But so that's I've been thinking about that a lot with Nick in terms of now we have learned that there is a doppelganger, that they're in like at certain point during the post snap,
right.
There was another Nick Fury. It turns out that it was Talos. It was a shape-shifting Skrull, and Nick Fury. But then I realized that, we actually saw Nick get snapped away. And like when they did the post-credit scene where everybody is in there, like before it's set up thing, like we see everybody getting dusted, and Nick Fury gets the pager and tries to send a message to Captain Marvel and drops it. And when he gets dusted, he's still Nick Fury. So that was Nick Fury. So if you take it as his final thing was Nick Fury, then it seems logical to me that he's been Nick Fury all the way through. Like the only time it was post snap when something else happened and he had to go off to space to have his vacation or whatever. That was where he left a Nick Fury behind. You know what I'm saying?
Again, I know what you're saying, but then again, it was a busy week.
It was a very busy week.
Maybe it was too busy.
It's possible. Yeah, we don't know. During this time period, we don't know what was going on with the Skrulls and Captain Marvel and all that stuff. Huh?
No, but I really do love the idea that this conversation, there's more to it than this, right? And again, because you know what the rest of the story is. I love that the challenge this gives Tony. I love how the seeds of this absolutely come to fruition later on in his storyline. And yes, I think it is absolutely a way of motivation on Nick Fury's part that we know we do want. The reality is, we do need a Tony Stark. Yes, we do. Yeah. You're being at
this point, he's the most
loser
popular
about it,
hero in the world.
Right.
Certainly the Hulk isn't. Nobody knows who Thor is. So he's the guy. So then Fury has walked around and sat on the table, like to sort of get in Tony's space, and says, which leads us to believe at this juncture, we'd only like to use you as a consultant. Tony then stands up and shakes Nick's hand, and it's sort of it seems like you've got yourself a deal. Like it has that sort of I'm a consultant. All right, there you go. And then Tony puts his other hand on the hand, do a firm handshake and says, you can't afford me. And then turns to exit. Boom.
Full-blown narcissist,
yes,
right? Because here's what happens.
How dare you offer me a consultancy?
No, and you actually see this play out. He lets his emotions get the best of him, where he's like, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to throw it back in your face. How horrible you've insulted me. No, forget this is not happening. He regrets it 3 steps away from Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And then comes up with wait, no, hold on.
Yeah.
Because he's thinking it. He's as he's walking away, he's like, wait.
Yeah.
I want to play in this. I want to play in the sandbox. Come on. Don't kick me out of the sandbox.
Looking ahead at the.
Yes. Come on.
So then as he gets near the door, he stops and turns around and says, then again, I will waive my customary retainer in exchange for a small favor.
Oh.
And what favor is that?
Yeah.
We won't know until minute 117 because that is literally where the minute ends.
Come on. We're this close.
Yeah, I know. It's like if you could just go on just a little bit longer, could you add maybe a minute 30 into this minute?
We're almost there.
No. Yeah, we're almost there.
There's nothing we in the previous minute we went deep into the map, all the Easter eggs that are in that.
Yeah.
There's nothing else new, nothing changes in this sequence. No. It's just I think it's a really good conversation. And again, I think when you just put it all together about Tony's story, God, this whole conversation plays out over the course of the whole franchise.
Yeah, in the commentary, Jon Favreau talks a little bit about the board, and so he says that if you look on the board, because he's recording the commentary, just before the launch of Iron Man 2, it has not come out yet. So he talks about how several of the things on there are obviously for this movie, from Incredible Hulk, from Thor, and then he actually says, and the one in Africa is about Wakanda. That means Black Panther. And I was like, Wow. Okay. So even in way back then in 2010, movie number 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be, they were already talking about Black Panther and Wakanda. They were specifically planting a flag there to say, we're going to go here eventually. And that makes me think that whatever that flag is in the Atlantic Ocean is also someplace they're intending to get to. Right. I don't know what that is. Is that Atlantis? Is that Namor? Like, I don't know. But I think that's one of those things. Like, we'll get there eventually.
The lawyers will figure it out.
Yeah, once we get all the legal wrangling out of the way, then trying to think even other Stingray, the movie. I'm trying to think what other Marvel aquatic characters there are that they could be trying to tease us with.
Oh wow, I don't even know Stingray. Okay.
Stingray's a pretty deep pull. He's like the Iron Man underwater. He's also one of those morally ambivalent characters, so he sort of walks both sides of the line. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's evil. Gotcha. Cool costume though. Looks like a giant manta ray when he puts out his stuff. He's red and white. It's a very interesting look for underwater. But that's the we won't find out what the favor was until we get to next time.
All right, so as we wrap up, look up forward to the next minute. One thing I did notice is Nick Fury always impeccably dressed.
Always.
Tony a little bit more casual. Mm-hmm. He's got on just a simple hoodie.
Is it a Stark hoodie? I couldn't tell. Is it branded?
Only see no. It's some other. Oh, it's like a retro Stark logo.
Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah, it's kind of got like the comet, like the NASA logo going around. It looks like.
Okay.
Oh well, how about that? Well, I don't know. Perhaps there's a place for people to go where they can check out maybe some retro Marvel Movie Minute merchandise.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Where would that place be?
Is it thenextreel.com/merch?
It is. You can go there. You'll take us to our online store. You can buy Next Reel products with our logo on pretty much whatever you want to put them on. We had not only our stuff, but a bunch of our other Next Reel shows have their own logos on there. You can get hats and masks and bumper stickers. Other bumper stickers? Sure, why not? Pillows, T-shirts, all kinds of different stuff. So check it out. And a few of those dollars come back our way to help us keep the show running because bandwidth ain't free.
I'm a little bit disappointed that I sort of acted like that was a trick question. It should not have been a trick question. It's fine.
I think even the audience is like, God, we've heard this so many times.
It's 116. Yeah, we know.
By this point, we know.
Get a pillow.
Yeah. So we'll be back here for minute 117 when we come to an end of principal photography. We get a picture wrap on everybody. And we'll also take a little side trip into maybe some stolen glory. We'll see. Enough said.
Bye.